Okay. Good morning, children. Welcome to the online classes for the 9th standard, that to the period of 12th period. So, in this period, we are going to continue the chapter we have discussed in the last class, that is our constitution. So, in our constitution, in the last classes, we have seen the silent future of the constitution we have discussed in the last classes. So, in that, in silent futures, we have remained some 3 to 4 points. That first I want to discuss. Then after, we will discuss the fundamental rights and the fundamental duties related to the Indian constitution which are given to the citizen of India. So, before that, in the last part, silent future, we have left the point single citizenship was there. The one point related to the silent future of India was, constitution was single citizenship. Single citizenship means the constitution makes provision for the single citizenship in order to curb means to remove the narrow parochialism. So, it promotes the nationalism that citizen of the country have its own rights. He is having the single right, and that same right we are going to find for the another person. That is called as the single citizenship. You can take the example of comparison between the Ambani and a beggar who is sitting on the road. So, even the Ambani having the same right, and the right given to the beggar who was seated on the road is having the same right that we are finding in the Indian constitution. That is called as the single citizenship promoted by our constitution. Now, you come toward the point toward the legislature side. You know the houses we are going to see in the our parliament. One is the Lok Sabha and second one is the Rajya Sabha. So, Rajya Sabha is having the going to be called as the upper house, and Lok Sabha is going to be called as the lower house, but both house people are having the same rights in the constitution. So, next point is adult franchise. So, adult franchise means, so some age limitation was given in the constitution. How the people belongs to the country, the human beings belongs to the country having the division of adult franchise. How the constitution has provided the adult franchise, all the citizens above the 18 years are to be considered as they are having the right to vote, and below 18 there is no right for the voting. So, that is the symbol given. Both people are, the below 18 are also belongs to India and above 18 are also belongs to India, but the rights given to the above 18 are having the right to vote. Now, these points we are going to see absolute powers were given for the sovereignty in the country. Next point, we are finding a similar silent feature, bicameral legislature. Bicameral means there we are finding two types of houses in the parliament. One is legislature, that to the state legislature we are having the two houses, and central legislature we are having the two houses. That type of bilateral system we are going to see in our Indian constitution. Last one, we are going to see the silent feature added to the Indian constitution where party system. We are going to see the development of political parties. Political parties are the pillar of the democratic in the country like India. It is called as there is no multi-parties system in India. The party which wins the majority of votes in the general elections, they are going to be called as the ruling party, and that rest will be the other parties are going to be considered as the opposition parties in the country. So, present day you can take the example, the ruling party is going to be called as the BJP government, and the opposition party we can say all other remaining parties are going to be called as the opposition party. These can ask any type of questions related to the problems related to the India. So, these are the some silent features we are going to see in the constitution. After that, the next point we are going to study in this chapter is fundamental rights and the fundamental duties provided by the constitution toward the citizen of India. So here, according to the fundamental rights provided by the constitution, the fundamental rights provide the social and the political, the social and the political atmosphere. It is necessary for the personality development of the citizen of India. If there is no rule, there is no any duties, there is no any fundamental rights, the personality of a human being cannot be developed in the systematic way. So they are required for a person to be lead a civilized life means he has to go through toward the duties and the rights. Then only we are finding the changes in the society. So next point we are going to see is, and it become essential for a democratic country like India to get success. Now there are 7 fundamental rights we are going to see mentioned in the third part of our constitution. However, after some time, according to the 44th amendment, which amendment? According to the 44th amendment, we are going to see there was a changes made in these rights. Earlier, there were only the 7 rights, but now present day we are finding the 6 rights provided for the human beings. How many rights? 6 rights were provided. So, in this we are finding these are the 6 points related to the rights given by the constitution in the present day. So, one figure is given in your book related to the point of the rights given by the Indian constitution. So, first right is right to equality. So, this type of figure is given in your book. You can see there. Okay, there are 6 types. So, one is right to equality. Right to equality. Second one is right to freedom. Right to freedom. Third one, right against exploitation. Right against exploitation. Fourth one, right to freedom and religion. Right to freedom and religion. Fifth one, cultural education rights. Cultural educational rights. And sixth one is right to constitutional remedies. Right to constitutional remedies. All these points we are going to see in the fundamental rights given to the citizen of India. So, come one by one, what is the meaning of all these rights? So, first one is right to equality. What is that? Right to equality. So, right to equality means there was the mention of point related to the providing the equal rights to the people belongs to India. This right is very essential for the success of a democratic country. Under this, all the citizens are having equal socially and equal economically before the law. It may be the beggar, it may be any industrialist, but all are equal in front of law. All are equal before the law. Nobody is above the law. Everyone is having the same law. All should get equal protection of law and none should be discriminated. There is no discrimination between the rich and the poor. Everyone is having the same power, same right. So, against on the basis of the caste, religion, gender or place of birth. And there is no discrimination related to the gender. There is gender means there is no discrimination in between the men and the women. There is no discrimination between the any religions belongs to India and there is no discrimination between the birthplaces. You can see, you got birth in Maharashtra, you can live in the Kashmir. If you have got birth in the Kashmir, you can live in the Maharashtra. So, there is equal rights is provided. No citizen should be subjected to any restrictions. No restrictions with regard to the assets of shop, public restaurant, hotels, places of public entertainment or public places of worship. So equal rights in the all fields belongs to the religious centers also. There is no any right provided to the different caste. Under the right of untouchability is one of the offense that this right has enabled every citizen to get an equal opportunity to join the government service. Now you can see, the person belongs to the Hindu, the person belongs to the Muslim, the person belongs to the Sikhs, the person belongs to the Christian, the person belongs to the Buddhism, Jainism, any religion, but they are all having the equal right to get entry toward the government sector. So this is the opportunity provided by the what? Right to equality. All these points we are going to see in the Constitution. Next one is the right to freedom. So what is the right to freedom means? It is one of the important parts which is going to be called as the fundamental right. And under this right, one who express the own opinions to conduct the meeting without the arms, to establish organization, to live anywhere in India and to follow any profession and move around the country. So every person of the country having the freedom. What? He is having total freedom. He can move any part of the country. He don't have any restrictions. I can go any places of the 28 states of the country and 9 union territories without permission of any organizations or the government sectors. But I have to go with the duties. Next, it is the one of the protective right also, and no one can be arrested without the proper reason in any state or any place belongs to India. No state law can snatch the life and freedom of the citizen. Any state is not going to make disturb to the life of the any citizen. Now, next point is right against exploitation. What is the meaning of exploitation? Making destruction, exploiting someone. So it may be the exploitation of property, exploitation of educational centers, regional centers, religion centers. So here some rights also given. The aim of the right is to prevent exploitation of first women. We are finding the gender exploitation to give protection for the gender, that is women, children, the poor and the weaker section. Second point is begging the Devadasi system. Begging the Devadasi system, the practice of sati, immoral activities and forced labor have been prohibited. So what are the social traditional acts following in the society? To remove this act was followed, which is exploiting the life of the citizens. And next one is employment children under the 14 years. You know the Child Labor Act. Child labor. So, of age in mining, industries and other dangerous occupations is punishable under this which law? Right against the exploitation. That was presented in the Constitution. And next one is right to freedom of religion. You know that India, we are finding the many religions, more than 7 to 8 religions, main religions, we are going to see in India. So, since India is going to be called as a secular country, and we have made changes in the 1976 at the time of Indira Gandhi, no religion has been given the status of national religion. Every religion having their own social relationship. There is no national religion we are going to consider for any religion. In front of nation, all are equal. All religions are equal. So, citizen can be accept any religion. He can transport to any religion as per his wish. That their consciences dictates, practice it and propagate it. He can follow to the any relationship. No use of religious places for political and the activities has been prohibited in the country. No, religious places are not prohibited to follow any kind of activities or practice giving the training for any religion. Use of religious places for the political and other activities has been prohibited in the country. So, use of any religion is not having the power, right to utilize a religion. So, religion is different from the political matters. That all rights were provided in this act. Next one is the cultural and the educational rights also given to the citizen of India. How the Indian citizen, all citizens of India have their own language. So, in Maharashtra they are going to speak Marathi, in Karnataka, Kannada, in other state you can take the Uttar Pradesh, there we are finding the Hindi language. So, they are having their own right to speak in their own languages. There is no restrictions, and they are having their own script, the written literature, and they are having their own culture. All states, 28 states and the 9 union territories having the different language, different culture, different written scripts. And every state, it is the duty of the state is protect them in their states. So, this right protects the interest of the religious and linguistic minorities. This right, which right? Cultural and the educational right protects the linguistic and the cultural activities of the belongs to the any religion. And the next point we are going to see is that no one can be denied admission in the government aided institutions or the institutions run by the minorities. There is no differentiate we are finding for the admission purpose. So, once we are going to see if the student, you can take the example of other powerful person belongs to India, Tata. If a child of Tata is admitted in our school, there is no denied to the person who belongs to the farmer. He cannot be admitted to this institute. So, the farmer child also admitted to the same institute, and Tata child can also admitted to the same school. That type of one of the right was given to the citizen or the children belongs to India in any institution. It may be aided, non-aided, minorities or government institutions. So, the last one is that is right to the constitutional remedies. So, according to the situations, we can give the remedies, we can make the changes in the rights given to the India. You can take the example of one of the right was changes in the 1986 related to the, so sorry, again we are finding in the 2002 at the Vajpayee government, that is right to education, RTE system was started, right to education. So, according to this act, we are going to see, so every child who belongs to the citizen of India from age to 16 to 6 to 14 years, he is having a right to take free education in the any institute belongs to the country. That right was provided by the government of Vajpayee in 2002. So these all rights are, we are going to see in the right to constitutional remedies. According to the situation, we can change the right presented in the constitution. So see here, some points are given related to this. The constitution has not only the given fundamental rights to the citizen of India, but also guaranteed them under Article 32 of the constitution. Whenever the rights are violated, if any person going against the right, either by a person or the state government, it may be the individual person, it may be the any government or any party. So it may be the state or the central government, the citizen may appeal directly toward the Supreme Court or the High Court. So a single person having the power to make case towards the government also, even the ruling government also, because the right is given by the Constitution to make appeal towards the Supreme Court and the High Court, because these are different to the political parties. Now, next point, you know that the architect Dr. B.R. Ambedkar has called the right the heart and soul. Called the right is the heart and the soul of the Constitution. Is going to be called the right is the heart and the soul, you know, the Atma, that is belongs to the Constitution of India, related to the citizen of India. So every citizen of India having the heart and the soul, that all are included in this Constitution. And next point we are going to see, if any individual or the government at the center and the state appear to be violate means going against the law, the person he has the right to approach the Supreme Court at any time. If he is finding any problem, he can take the example, any political party making bad for the society, automatically we can put the case toward these parties at any time. That single power, that individual power, we are finding from the right to the constitutional remedies. The last point we are going to see in this topic is, the Supreme Court is empowered to enforce the fundamental rights, and hence it is called as the protector of the fundamental rights of the countries, of the fundamental rights of the Constitution. Who is called as the protector? Supreme Court is going to be called as the protector of the rights of the fundamental duties, the fundamental rights of the Indian citizen. So even the High Court, which belongs to the state, that having the power to pass the following writs under the Article 226, it can forward toward the Supreme Court at any time. So these are the important rights we are going to see related to the point of what? Right to constitutional remedies. So to approach this, to follow this, to appeal this, some process is provided by the Constitution according to the constitutional remedies. Some points are given that are going to be called as the first point is habeas corpus. To approach this, the order passed by the Supreme Court or the High Court to be produced a person within the specified time frame is called as the habeas corpus. So that case should be made, that appeal should be made within the time provided by the Supreme Court and the High Court. That point of written document is going to be called as the habeas corpus, and the protect the individual right of the person. Next process is mandamus. Mandamus means when the legislature, executive or any other subordinate it may be the legislative, it may be the executive or any other subordinate institution, fail to perform. Suppose they are failed to perform the certain duties, to follow the duties or works, the Supreme Court or the High Courts orders them to perform these works. Suppose legislator is not following the duty, executive is not following the correct duty, so Supreme Court orders these people to follow the correct work in the societies of India. That is called as the mandamus. These are the letters given by the government. This order is called as the mandamus, but the order cannot be passed against the private or the individual or the governor or the president. So it is not passed toward the private, individual, governor or the president of India. Next one is the prohibition. So you know the meaning of prohibition means going against or closing it. When a subordinate court passes a judgment, you know the many courts are there in the country. Subordinate court is there, High Court is there, Supreme Court is there. When the subordinate court passes the judgment beyond it, the jurisdiction or the judgments against the sense of the natural justice, the higher court pass order against the such a judgment. Suppose you can take the example of Bhalki Court. Bhalki Court judgments gone against the constitutional right. So automatically the High Court will take the action. If High Court has done mistake, Supreme Court will order the pass and get action toward these courts. That is called as the prohibition. The order is called as the prohibition, and this can be passed against the lower courts, not to the higher courts. Next one is certiorari. This is when the subordinate court passed the judgment beyond the jurisdictions or against the sense of natural justice, the higher orders, the submission of records related to that judgment is to be called as the certiorari. So, what the subordinate court will do, by doing his mistake, he will going to submit the document related to the mistake done toward the higher court. This order is going to be called as the certiorari. Now last one we are going to see, that is co-warrant. Co-warrant. So the last point we are going to see related to this remedies is co-warrant. So last we are finding the warrant toward the citizen or any political person. The order directing the right person to occupy the right public offices is called as the co-warrant. So by the official person, he is having the right to make attack towards the individual person who is doing the mistake. That is called as the co-warrant. The order is passed against the person who had public offences illegally by the higher courts. Higher courts. Another point is the person against who holds the public offices illegally, who is going to occupy the public offices illegally by higher courts. That time this co-warrant is given to these courts. Public interest legislation can be filed in the court in order to protect the social rights and denied the citizens to protect the public interest. So, by this co-warrant, they are going to give the protection to the social, they are going to give the protection to the societies, and they are going to protect the environment belong to the particular place and what the rights given to the individual citizens of India. And it also protects the environment being polluted in the societies. That is called as the coherent. Now next point we are going to see, that is the public interest legislations can be filled by the individuals and the social institutions also. In recent years we are going to see that the courts on their own are filling such a public interest legislations when situation arises in the societies, in the official or in the public places. They all were finding due to the right to constitutional remedies provided in the Constitution of India, and according to this they are going to make the changes to get the development of the society economically, politically and culturally in India. So these are the some points we are going to discuss in the topic related to the Constitution of India today. So today I am going to stop the topic with this point, that is coherent, and remaining part I will discuss in the next class, that to be going to be called as the fundamental duties related to the Indian Constitution, and next point is the directive principles of state policies, that we will discuss in the next class. Thank you.